One of the terms that you oftentimes hear is something that gets thrown around from time to time, and it's mastermind group, it's coaching, it's mentoring, and all of these different things. When we really boil them down to the core, it's essentially a guide or someone who's helping you get from one point in your life, in your business, your professional career, ultimately to elevate you and help you skip or fast forward that time and get there a little bit shorter. So today I'm going to dive in. I want to help you how to identify the right mastermind group. Let's get into the intro. Welcome to the Your Podcast Mentor Show with Jonathan Jones. Here you will learn how to start, launch, and monetize your podcast. In addition to hearing the latest trends and the latest and greatest things happening in the podcast industry. Are you ready? What's going on, family? It's your podcast mentor, Jonathan Jones. And I'm excited for you to be here and for you to tap in. And if you're watching on YouTube, hey, if you're listening, on any audio player, anything like that, what's going on? But the premise of this show is ultimately to show you how to start, launch, and to monetize your podcast platform. And today I wanted to dive in on the topic of how do you identify the right mastermind group? And the reason I say that is because as you're to the point in the place where you have been able to elevate and have a level of success with your podcast, then you're going to be in the position to where other people are going to want to inquire. They're going to want to learn. How did you do this? How did you start your podcast? How can I do that? How can I begin to have a successful podcast? So that's the opportunity that you have to either start a mastermind group or the opportunity that you have to join a mastermind group. All right. And I really wanted to share this because this past weekend I was in Atlanta and I was hanging out with my mastermind group, which is led by my coach, Words Taylor. Right. Words he's the guru when it comes to scaling your business with webinars. And I'm joining him. I signed up for his program because I've been teaching people how to podcast, and I've been wanting to further expand that reach and further help people on a more intimate level. So I joined his program, Scaling with Webinars, and just want to make a slight caveat because we're getting ready to roll out a training this weekend. That's right. This weekend, we're getting ready to launch the training live. But make sure that you get registered if you're somebody who is saying, John, I have a podcast, but it's not doing what I want it to do. Or you're saying, John, I don't have a podcast, but I would love to start one. And I would love to see how I can monetize that platform. I would encourage you to go to getpaidwithpodcasting.com. That's getpaidwithpodcasting.com. So you can sign up for the webinar. And I'm going to be taking a deep dive to show you ultimately how a podcast can help you generate more leads, can help you establish your credibility, and then also it can put you in a position to where you're generating revenue. All right. So that's coming up this weekend. So be sure to go to getpaidwithpodcasting.com. We're going to have the link down in the show notes for you to register. Free webinar. Come check it out and see what you can take away. All right. See what you can take away. And now as we're talking about finding the right mastermind group, just as I said, I was in Atlanta and I got to sit down and meet my coach for the first time. Right. So we're hanging out. It was a training from about 9 till about 3. We did breakout groups. We did some pitches of just sharing what our program, what our offering is. And then even in addition to that, our coach was there with us and he was giving us some hands-on insight. Hey, let's change the language on this page. Okay. Hey, well, let's try this. And then we were spitballing ideas and going all around the room. And it made me think, how many people aren't in the position to where they can benefit directly from a mastermind group? Because in order to get to the point to where we can even really break this thing down like I want to, let me define just what a mastermind group really is. So let me just pull it up on the screen. And a mastermind group exactly will be defined as this. Mastermind groups offer a combination of brainstorming, education, peer accountability, and support in a group setting. To sharpen your business and personal skills, a mastermind group helps you and your mastermind group members achieve success. All right. Members challenge each other to set strong goals and, more importantly, to accomplish them. That would be what a mastermind group is. Okay. So let's break this thing down. It offers a combination of brainstorming, right? So us having the ability to talk back and forth with one another. It offers us peer accountability. So now we have somebody that's helping us, holding us accountable, and we're meeting in a group setting. And then it says to sharpen your business and personal skills. To sharpen your business and personal skills. I was a former student athlete, and one thing that I always appreciated was in the weight room and then doing workouts, or even in study hall. I had my good friend Buzo right by my side. So my boy Buzo would spot me when I'm lifting the weight, because if you know anything about working out, you're going to put on a level of weight that you know you can lift when you're in the gym by yourself. But when you have somebody there with you, then you're gonna level up a little bit. You're gonna see if you can do a little bit more weight than you typically have done, right? If you agree, just nod your head or just say yeah out loud, even though I can't hear you. But just say yeah out loud, or you can comment down in the comment box down below on YouTube. But that's one thing I just want you to think about, because I've heard it said before: if you want to go fast, then go alone. But if you want to go far, that's when you make sure you have some other people with you. But let's go ahead and get into this content. Let's get into this content. So the first thing I want you to take away is this, right? When it comes to finding the right mastermind, the first thing that I would say would be one of the biggest pieces would be you want to find a community of like-minded individuals, right? You want to find a community of like-minded individuals. John, how do I find a community of like-minded individuals? You can find them by way of just identifying who's the leader. When you know who the leader is, if they're doing their job, their followers should start to resemble some of what the leader shares, some of the leader's mindset, some of the leader's belief, or they should at least be transitioning towards that or aspiring towards that. Right? So getting in the right mastermind group looks like you having a community of like-minded individuals. Right? And that's one thing I've learned with my clients that I've helped start their podcast and get that thing launched, and, help position them to begin to get speaking engagements, and also help position them to begin to generate some revenue, is that these are individuals who want to get a message out. Right? These are individuals who are saying, John, I have something to say. I need to use my voice. I've been called to use my voice, so I need to put it to the masses. And I love that, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about speaking. I'm all about teaching. I'm all about making sure that everything that I have is poured out into my community, into my mastermind, into the people that I know and love the most, so that ultimately we all can grow and we all can elevate. All right. So that's the first thing. You want to find a group of like-minded individuals. But after you find a group of like-minded individuals, you then want to ask yourself this one: where can I find somebody with a proven system? You want somebody to where you know that every time that this person says they go through this strategy, boom, 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 that after they go through the strategy, more than likely you're going to get this result, right? It's just like in math. Y equals mx plus b, right? Y equals mx plus b. I hated math, but that was one thing I understood. That at the end of the day, I'm trying to get the y on the left side of the equation, and then I'm trying to get the equals mx plus b on the other side. That's a formula. So you want to find a coach that has a formula, because somebody having a formula lets you know that they've spent more time thinking about this problem, that they're invested in getting to the solution, that they're making sure that ultimately, if we put John at the end of this equation, if we put Rhonda, if we put Rick, if we put Tammy at the end of this equation, and then we add in the other factors, we're still going to get X solution, right? And that's one thing that I personally love to do with my own program. That's why I bring you in for 6 months of mentorship in the group coach setting. In the first 3 months, I just want you to focus on the podcast. Focus on the podcast. Get the podcast going. Understand the recording schedule. Understand the editing. Understand the promotion. After that, we're going to have identified some ways that you potentially can see about monetizing. How can you leverage what you've done to see about really being able to monetize this message, right? So having a proven system. And one proven system, a lot of times, is what we call a CDA, or a call to action. And if you haven't caught that episode, I'm going to drop a link down in the show notes to where you can tap in and check that episode out, to where I talk about podcast calls to action. Because if we never ask people to buy, or we never drive people to where they can purchase or go on a deeper level with us, if that's a ebook, audio book, t-shirt, coaching program, then we're being selfish. But that's another topic for another day. We're going to stay on topic. And then the last way you find the right mastermind group for you, is that you want to find a coach who's helped some other people get the success that you're desiring. So you want to find a coach with some receipts. You want to find a coach with some receipts. John, what do you mean find a coach with some receipts? You know, when you go to the grocery store, you know, when you go out to eat, you know, when you go bowling, after you get done, you pay. And then in exchange, they give you a receipt saying, okay, you gave me this payment. Here's a receipt. The receipt represents your proof of payment. The receipt is to show people that you were there. Because after you get the receipt, you swipe your card, then you sign, put your signature on there. You're saying, it's me. I'm putting my stamp to say that I did eat this food. I did bowl here. I did do this. I did do that. Why is that relevant? Because we want to know, and we want to make sure that people aren't practicing on us. Have you ever met somebody for the first time? Or you met somebody and you asked them, hey, can you bake me a cake? And they're like, I got you covered. I got you covered. But you've never heard this person ever talk about baking cakes. They just said it because it's something that they could do. I'm doing the air quotes, that they could do, not something necessarily that they're good at. Yeah. Yeah. So understanding that, you don't want somebody who could be good at what they're saying they do. You don't want to invest in that coach or invest in that program if they don't have a formula or a system to where you know they're going to get the result that you're looking for. That's why I'm rocking with my coach, Words Taylor. Before I signed up to work with Words, I said this. I said, let me see who else he's helped. I saw my coaches help clients like Eric Thomas, Dr. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. I've saw him help many other people. He's launched board games. He's launched coaching programs. He's launched his own program. Like, I've watched him. And then I've heard him speak. I heard him share. I heard his heart. And I said, I like this guy. I said, let me go ahead and sign up for his, let me go ahead and sign up for his program. Let me go ahead and get in there. Yeah, let me get in there. Let me get in that. So just so before we recap, I want to let you all know one more time that if you are somebody where you're saying, John, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, right? And I'm putting this one out for the speakers, coaches, and consultants. If you're saying I'm a speaker and I haven't established my expertise, I haven't shown people that I can be credible, that I can help them transform their audience, that I can be tried and true. If you haven't built that credibility, you need to be attending this webinar. That's point blank period. You need to be in the webinar, okay? Because the webinar, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna show you how you can establish your credibility through podcasting. I'm gonna show you how you can explode your leads through podcasting. I'm gonna show you how you can position yourself as an authority through podcasting. All right. So make sure to go to getpaidwithpodcasting.com to register for the free webinar. Getpaidwithpodcasting.com. All right. To register for the webinar. Get signed up, get on the list, and make sure that I see you there. All right. And now, just as we do the recap, as you know, I always like to do, the question on the table is how to find the right mastermind for me, right? How do I find the right mastermind for me, John? Well, it's how you get the answer. First, you have to make sure that you find the community of like-minded individuals. And that's why I joined Word's program, because his community is what we call the nation, right? It's Dream Builder Nation. And I love the thought process of being a dream builder. I love it. It's so powerful and so prolific, right? So you have to find a community of people who think like you or have a desire to think like you, which is next level, okay? Because you're a next level thinker, all right? Then the next thing is we have to go out here and we have to find somebody with a proven system. Have they done this before? Do they have a formula? Do they have a process in place? Maybe it's 4 steps to successful weight loss, 7 steps to help you go from 0 to 6 figures in 12 weeks. For me, my program is 5 modules. I lay out the 5 modules, right, to help you get that podcast up, help you get that podcast out, and to help you begin to generate some revenue. And then the last point I want to make sure that we just drill down in on is finding a coach with receipts. Let me read a testimonial. Let me see a testimonial. Let me hear a testimonial. I need to see something. Because at the end of the day, the proof is in the podcast. Okay. The proof is in the podcast, y'all. Some of us out here, we finding people and running into people and they saying they can do this, that, this, that, this, that. No, I don't want somebody that can do everything. Just give me one person that can do the one thing that I'm looking for really strong. If somebody comes to me, John, teach me how to speak. I'll teach you how to speak if you get this podcast up and running. We have a speaker's portion in the podcast training. So if you're trying to get to the next level with your speaking business, yeah, we can do that in this podcast training. Don't talk to me about nothing unless we're talking about podcasts. Podcast. Talk to me about my podcast. All right. That's it. That's it, family. That's it. So just wanted to recap, make sure that, you know, in order to find the right mastermind, you want to make sure that it's somebody who has a proven system. You want to make sure that it's somebody who has a community of like-minded individuals. All right. And then you want to find a coach with receipts. You're not here to be practiced on. You're not here to be played with. So before you decide to invest your money in anybody's mastermind, make sure that they're capable and credible of helping you get the result that you're desiring to achieve by the time you get finished working with them, by the time your term is up. Make sure that you got what you needed in working with that person. And that's how you find the right mastermind. All right. You do all those things. But the last part and the most important thing is you have to make sure that you show up, and you have to make sure that you're willing to do the work as well. Family, it's your podcast mentor, Jonathan Jones. And the purpose and the premise of this show is to help you establish your platform so that you can profit on purpose from your podcast. It's your podcast mentor signing out. Peace and God bless. I'll see you next time.